Hey everybody, my name is Rydo, and today we are looking at LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. I'll have to be really careful to not call it LEGO Star Wars The Force Unleashed, which is Star Wars The Force Unleashed is a side game that is non-canon, not anymore. There's a lot of backstory that's going to happen here, so let's just go ahead and start a new game. It seems like they're going to recap some of episode 6 before they get into episode 7, and I must start this game with the caveat that I have not seen this movie, so this will be a new experience for me. I have played a lot of the other LEGO games. Unfortunately, something kept going wrong with all the LEGO games on my new computer, causing a lot of stuttering in most games and a non-stop amount of stuttering in some games, LEGO games particularly, and oddly Resident Evil 4. I have a few tricks up my sleeve to try and see if this newer version won't have that problem, and maybe there's a way to fix that. As far as messing with video settings in this game, everything by default was at high, except for the resolution of 1080p. That was lower, and I just don't find that acceptable. I could try window mode or borderless window mode. I could try switching to DirectX 9 instead of DirectX 11. I don't see any real reason why you would want to do any of that. Subtitles are on by default. Audio, sound effects, and music are just at the maximum. So if the audio is a little quiet, apologies, but that's as loud as it gets. I'll try to stay pretty quiet in there. When we get into the new intro, for some weird reason, maybe it was because the Star Wars Episode 7 was shot in IMAX, you're getting black bars on the bottom and top, which doesn't make a lot of sense in a 1080p screen. Even if the movie was made in 4K, it still wouldn't have black bars. If it was made in 8K, it wouldn't have black bars. It's not in the actual gameplay, it's just in the cutscenes, and it's probably just a cinematic thing. Also, I will point out that I have all the DLC, but because I have disabled the Steam pop-up, which is annoying at best, it just tells me I need to sign into the Steam store, even though I totally am. But there shouldn't be any issue. We should see all the DLC. And that's kind of all we need to know. So we're going to start over again and begin. I didn't hit the right button because it puts you on no. Same is true in the video settings. You have to select something, apply something, and then select keep the settings, and then hit A. Are you really sure? Well, I guess this is a kid's game, so I can't really object that they're asking twice before you overwrite a save file. Autosave will be now used game 1. Let's begin. Black bars on top and bottom. No reason for it. This is a newer LEGO game, so the LEGO minifigs are going to talk. It's going to sound very creepy because it's the actual voices from the actors in the movie and just out of place. Yeah, they're having you play a prologue mission that takes place at the end of episode 6, and I heavily suspect that you do not spend time in episode 7 when watching that movie seeing a recap of what happened in episode 6. That would be kind of a waste of time. But then again, kids game, can't really complain. So what we're keeping an eye out for here is lagging. When the frame rate just locks up and it drops drastically. I've attempted to disable Windows Super Fetch, which shouldn't have been enabled anyways because I have an SSD hard drive. But there's several other things that I've seen that might also be the problem, like running the game as an administrator or disabling the dots per inch adjustment on my Windows, which I guess that could be the issue.
Welcome, young Skywalker. I'm looking forward to completing your training. In time, you will call me Master.
You're gravely mistaken. You won't convert me as you did my father.
It is pointless to resist, my son.
The problem with using these voices from the movies is it just does not sound like it's been recorded in the same room that the characters are in. I don't know why that is often the case, but it is.
May the Force be with us.
Says concerned alien babble. Uncertain alien babble.
They don't know if we're coming. Break off the attack. The shield is still up.
It's a trap.
So he tossed his cookies.
I told you it was dangerous.
3 different scenes in less than 3 minutes.
Come on, let's keep a little optimism.
Hello, I say over there.
By the way, you can't skip all of this. These are supposed to be comedic. In the first Lego Star Wars games, I would suggest Lego Star Wars The Complete Collection, I think did a lot better job with the comedy than any of the later ones. And any of the later Lego games, in fact. Particularly when they started using the voice actors acting. So, I'm playing as Han Solo. I'm pressing X to kill somebody. Now, the latest Lego game I played was, I believe, Lego The Avengers. And it was very pretty, and this is a lot better than even that. They really have gotten the ability to depict Lego and mixes of things quite well. I'm also noticing by just tapping X there, I'm doing a slide attack just by default, which means the game is programmed to be a little bit more interesting while mashing the same buttons for little kids. And I'm seeing some new Lego things that I haven't seen. Alright. Mini builds allow you to build different objects from the same pile of Legos. In case you don't know. A is jump, just to make sure. Y. There we got a little bit of a hitch. As soon as I pressed Y to switch to Chewie. And then we're going as 3 different characters. And that seemed like it was a one-time thing, so I can't complain too much. Let's see. Chewie's got a cross-bolt blaster. It's pretty unlikely that there's a secret in this first area. We've got a lot of stuff happening in the background. Alright. So now usually you would just hold B. But now it wants me to hit the left and the right stick. And that feels like that was a... It feels like that was a... 2 options. Hold A on Lego bouncers to reach high areas. Are these A? You can smash multi-builds and build it and rebuild it in places. That's a new concept. These are the old style mini kits that we haven't seen since the original Lego games. And if we hit pause, we also see that the old style red bricks are back on top of the gold bricks, which are the main collectibles. I assume those are back too. So let's have her build something. So you hold B, but you have to decide which way you want to go. And we're collecting little bits of gems and studs. Well, they're called Lego studs. They're Lego studs if they're round. They're Lego bricks if they're square. I guess would be a good way of doing it. Grapple. Characters with grapple hooks such as leg can press B to attach when prompt. So we're going to have the grapple hook ability that I definitely was introduced at some point. Maybe it was in the Lego Star Wars, maybe it was in the Lego Indiana Jones games. I assume this guy is too powerful and he'll probably just attack me if I get too close and destroy me. That's not a big deal, I just drop a bunch of studs. We'll need Chewie, I imagine, to grab this, and we're having to use the left stick a little bit to direct. So that's nice to have two actions instead of just holding the B button down. It makes it a little bit more complicated for kids, but I don't think it's too complicated. Now once we tap B, and I could see you not understanding that was the action that they wanted. And we've unlocked Wicket in our character selector, which, bringing back the character selector, I like that. So I should be able to hold down Y, and if I had any extras, which apparently I already have some for available to purchase. Collectible detector would be one good thing to purchase really quick, and the rest of them probably not so much. I imagine that there's a coin multiplier hidden behind some of these options. It's a little weird to have the extras hidden there instead of over in the menu where it was before. Also, you can put in codes if you want to immediately cheat. Not a bad idea in a Lego game if you just want to quickly go through things. There's slightly different menus, but basically the same thing. Alright, so there's a red brick over there. So let's see what this does. Come on. I guess we come over here and we hop up and we get over here, and that is the red brick. I think it's pretty obvious this is a tutorial level, but it is also, so far so good. We haven't run into any major problems. Maybe it's a little slow on dropping studs after you build something, but that seems intentional, not like a bug. And just pull this back, and I think this will probably release. Oh, he's gonna release it. And they smash it. Now, some of the Lego games have had this deteriorating effect in a very bad way, where you're halfway through the game and thus you what am I trying to say? You're so overcommitted to the game. This is something that was introduced, I believe for this game, a over-the-cover, like cover-based shooting, it really doesn't have much of a place to be in a Lego game, because this is not what Lego is about. Yes, Lego has zappers and toy guns, undoubtedly, but they specifically don't make war vehicles like tanks and such. And frankly, this is not what Lego games have been about. So it's really crazy that TT Games and WB apparently I did something that deserved unlocking a new character and got a character token. Like, I know Han Solo's a guy with a gun. I know that's part of the story, but part of the fun of the Lego games was trying not to too much deviate from running around and smashing things. And blasting like this is fine by me, but when you start getting into cover-based shooting, it feels like you're playing baby's first Call of Duty. And let's see, none of these people I imagine have the Force in them, so I can't use that. There's a secret there that will have to come back in free play. I held X to be able to target things, and you can see there's really nothing to target. They're doing the standard small character can crawl through things. Command push blocks require a group of characters to move them. Find some nearby. Interesting. I've never seen anything like that. That's new. I guess it's nice that there's something new in the Lego Star Wars game. They've made enough of them for that to not make sense. Otherwise, it wouldn't really make sense to make another Lego game. Here we have R2-D2 stuck under a log. So I can get the other Wicket characters and wait for them to come. And once I have all three of them, this is very Pikmin-like. It's an interesting idea. And you just push. You don't press a button. I wasn't really expecting that. I was expecting some kind of button press. Particularly a B button press. To be fair, they are doing this level, which I've probably already played something very similar to this level before in previous Lego games. They're definitely doing a better job with this than what they had in the past. So we've unlocked R2-D2. Nice. And turret stuff doesn't really bother me. And we'll eventually get a magnet mode that will, let's see. That magnet mode will eventually allow us to collect all the studs near us. Alright, so I need somebody else. There's a decent jumper. And we'll make a platform so everybody can walk up here. Is Chewbacca a decent jumper? Sometimes the female characters were better jumpers. Yeah, it's easier to switch to Chewbacca. There is a ton of achievements for this game, and I would not be surprised if I missed a decent number of them without playing the game a second time or looking through a walkthrough. Because while a significant portion of them do seem like they are story-based, some of them certainly also feel like they aren't. Alright, we now need R2-D2. You can see in this menu that there's 2 on the left. That tells me there will be 5 options probably in every level, and then you'll have an extra character that you can have in free play mode, an extra 2 that are probably just random characters. There's a lot of stuff going on here. This is a like full-on puzzle. And you're matching the insides with the outsides if it shrunk down. Which is basically you just spin, because there's no reset condition or mess up condition. You probably don't want to play too often as R2-D2 though, because his abilities are quite limited. Like, it's not much better. You see something built here, but as I move the camera with the right stick, I'm not really seeing anything. If you get next to these guys and press B, it seems like it just attacks them in a slightly different way. That seems odd. And it feels like these levels are going to be moderately... Yeah, that's a character I don't think we're going to have right now, Admiral Akbar. Let's see, what is this? Characters with grapple hooks. Okay, that's what I'm supposed to do. Use Leia with the grapple hook. And she goes into an action scene. Oh, you have to get in the blue? I can't believe it took me 3 tries on that. This is the right way to do a game, though. Is do the abilities and say, look, this is the kind of experience you can expect to have. There's another hitch. But not too bad so far. This is the ability as you can expect to have and the kind of gameplay you can expect to run into. Let's see. This one does have a B stomp, but it doesn't seem like it's working. Instead, I think you have to hold down X and target. And that clears all of that. You can see some of these enemies and good guys don't have the best of pathfinding. And some of these enemies don't seem like they are actually targetable. There's another hitch. It might have something to do with the blasting ability. That's just... I guess ideally you just want to sit in one position and shoot everything. You can see in the top middle on the bars we have a collection of studs that we're getting, and that bar is about to be filled. That tells me that we're probably approaching the end of the games if we can get close to or fill the bar completely. What is it? True Jedi mode is what it was called previously. I imagine it'll still be called just True Jedi mode. I imagine there's not too much more of this. Now, the question, almost certainly, I would say, we're going to run into a main hub world, because they've had main hub worlds added to every LEGO game for several years now. And there'll be like a mission select mode. Hopefully it makes sense and it's very linear. LEGO Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars was not very linear and didn't make sense. And since I hadn't really watched LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars or knew anything about it, I didn't even have a clue as to which of the three paths was supposed to be the path you were supposed to go on, or would have been chronologically correct even compared to the cartoon. But then I played a different game, LEGO Star Wars. No, it wasn't called Rebels. That's the second cartoon. It was Legos. It was no, not a LEGO game. It was a Star Wars, the Clone Wars, Assault Heroes or something that I covered. And well, I covered it for May the 4th, Be With You, in the month of May in 2018. Meanwhile, this will air probably a few months after that. I got this game on sale for the May the 4th sale. There's another hitch. But the hitching certainly is not yet so bad that I can't play the game. And I'll probably, well, I'll probably point out a significant number of hitches. That way people know it's actually on my end and my PC and not simply a matter of the there was a 1 of 3 icon that tells me that there's 2 more gold things I should shoot. So is Leia getting knocked out of this? No, the camera's just gonna twist on us and we're gonna go in a different area. There's another hitch. I'm fairly certain that the hitching is at least somewhat related to an attempt of the engine that these games use that has been the same engine from the beginning, although it is potentially getting better and worse in different iterations. I think it has something to do with the game engine specifically deciding to let's see. I guess what I need to do is I need to come over here and tell these guys to grab the others. We've never seen this before. A group tugging on a grapple point. Pretty cool. Notice I've only gotten 3 out of 10 in this area, which seems like a considerably small amount considering I think we're going to be done. And that was 4 out of 10. And we've done True Jedi. If I recall correctly, we go into this area, we disable a shield generator one way or the other, and let's see, this is a hat and we get to choose what kind of hat we're gonna have. Let's see what it builds into over here. It's a movie projector with Star Wars on it. Interesting. And I guess that distracted them. So unless they were going to specifically decide to like make us fight in space or fight the Emperor. This should be the end of the game.
Like your father are now mine.
Underestimate the power of the dark side.
The comedy's kind of funny, but it doesn't
Use your aggressive
it doesn't really always play because it doesn't happen enough.
So be it, Jedi. If you will not be turned, you will be destroyed.
And we're still in the same level, but this is pretty much just the same experience before. I guess they needed us to do the tutorial to use the Force. We fought a very similar level. Now we don't have the thermal detonator, so we can't break that. He's doing lightning attacks. What does this say? Hold this to use the Force on him and irritate him and throw him around. That's a different way than it worked before. See, over here there should be little places where we can use the Force too. But you can't go any further. And in the previous time we fought this scene, you did go further. And he has like a 6 health bar. It certainly has been the case in previous LEGO games where the boss has had just really high, very specific incidents, health bars where things just would not go forward. You could not beat the boss unless you figured out what you were doing. Right. So one of these I can use on Luke, but I'm gonna have to switch to Darth Vader to play as the other character. So, because Darth Vader can use the dark side, this is a better fight, I think, than the one in the original game. By a little. It probably didn't need to be revisited at all. It seems kind of redundant, particularly since this isn't the movie. And we're seeing the Emperor do something that he just never happened in the movie. I'm trying to lift this orb. I guess that didn't do anything. Just looking around to see any of the items. I guess I'm gonna pull this out. And you can definitely tell that you're gonna have to come back and play this a second time on free play. But I have 88,000 studs, and that seems like a rather high number of studs to have for the first time you've ever played a game. And we'll just go ahead and hit these and drop something on them. Now it might take 1,000,000 studs to get stud multiplier, even a 2x2 multiplier. Or maybe they got rid of the multipliers. I wouldn't be upset if they rebalanced the cost of studs and the cost of unlocking things. So tap A in this QuickTime event, tap X, and it seems like it's adaptive difficulty because it's not even really requiring you to fill the full bars on the QuickTime. Usually you wouldn't want to be that obvious about it. There is adaptive difficulty in this game and LEGO games, but they've been sneakier than that. You know, it just occurred to me this whole prologue might be to reveal something that actually didn't get revealed in episode 8.
Now, go, my son. Leave me.
No, I've got to save you.
You already have, Luke.
I don't think Luke plays any part actually in episode 7. I don't think he even shows up, maybe for a second. So maybe that's why this prologue had to happen, is just so they had you playing as some familiar characters before the rest of the game is with the new characters. Of course, they probably finished developing this game. You can invert flight controls by pressing start. They actually, I think, very much lucked out. This is a rather slow flying mechanic. I can't really complain about it though. I think that's probably good for little kids. So we're flying around shooting certain things, trying to get as many collectibles that might be around. We're going in a loop, I believe. While we're also... No? I guess we didn't really go in a loop.
Now log on to the strongest power source. It should be the power generator. Warm up and stay alert. We could run out of space real
There's
fast.
another hitch up. Seems like I'm about to take some damage or get... I was locked on by the enemy. Interesting. There's no like right trigger. Ooh, I can hit left bump and right bump to switch between two different characters. Let's see, if I hold Y, I guess those are the only two.
There it is.
So you're playing as the Millennium Falcon, which I don't believe ever actually came in this area. Or an X-Wing fighter. And this is a full-on... That's another hitch up. This is a full-on different way to do the scene that I've already played, the scene at least once before in a previous LEGO game. And I don't believe 100% is really 100%. Let's see, hold right trigger to boost. Let's see. No, it's left trigger to boost. And how do I... Like, just out of curiosity, how am I supposed to... Like, barrel rolls is A, X, Y, B. Well, there's something. You can shoot with the X button, or you can... Pressing A while flying, A and back. Yes, that does a barrel roll. Alright. Controls, again, sort of sluggish, but I can't immediately complain about them. There's another collectible. There's another piece destroyed. And we have now like 230,000 studs. And it's the same button to shoot torpedoes as guns, which seems odd. Yeah. Anyways, what I was saying is Episode 7 was a huge success. I would argue Episode 8 was kind of a big mess and ruined a lot of what was set up in 7, but still, for the most part, successful. You missed the rubber ducky. So, I imagine this game was not certain that it would sell on the success of Episode 7. If they had waited longer and released it, they would have been a lot more certain about that. Is that Leia in the dress back there? I don't believe she was dressed like that at all. And see, that was the corny ending to episode. And maybe I got to play the prologue because of some season pass or DLC. Maybe that could also be the case. Maybe most players didn't get that. And see, we've gotten 2 out of 3 gold bricks. The red brick, I believe, should give us the 3rd gold brick. No, getting all the mini kits will give us the 3rd gold brick, and that's that we didn't get all of those, and then the game is not designed for you to be able to get all of those. And so we've unlocked some vehicles that we could either have to purchase them, or maybe you don't purchase unlocked characters. This is a ton of characters. Take note that all the ones that are unlocked at the bottom are DLC characters that are added. In fact, some of those DLC characters should be unlocked, and maybe they will unlock later. I don't know. But yeah, apparently there is 68 characters unlocked right now by default of 277. That is the most number of minifig different playable characters I've ever seen. There's 5 of 86 vehicles. I think that is more than I've ever seen. But it does say we have 1 of 18 red bricks, and that seems really odd, because that tells me there's really only 17 more levels, which would, I guess, be alright, because if it takes me 17 hours or a little bit less than that, it's taken me about 45 minutes to play this level. So 45 times 18, that's a close to 15-hour game. And if you have to play each level twice because you have to come back in free play mode, that brings us up to a 30-hour game. Most LEGO games have a little bit more to it than what it shows immediately, so I would imagine we're probably approaching closer to a 60-hour game. If the game can be fixed well enough and continue down the path so it doesn't hitch up that much. Now, unfortunately, I have to continue the story because I can't do anything else. There's no going to the hub. There's no hitting B. There's no doing anything at all. And I don't know if the game is saved or not. So I can't really do tricks and try to adjust the game a little bit better, run it as an administrator, for instance, unless I exit. Ooh. Well, I'm going to end this recording here, and worst case scenario, I'll have to play the entire game from the beginning again, and then the stats would be a little bit different. I just have to play the whole level if I exited it out and the game didn't save. That's it for this recording. As always, I end my episodes the same way. I ask you to like, share, subscribe. When you subscribe, please click the notification bell. It seems mandatory these days. Comment and watch every second of my videos, because all of those things help me with YouTube. Tells the algorithm that my videos are worth watching. If you want a friend or follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, friend me on Steam and gift me a game either on my wish list, or gift me a gift card, or just gift me a game you'd like to see me cover, even if I haven't wish listed. That is a lot easier than trying to run ads on a YouTube channel and getting nowhere with that. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.